My name's Ed Fidoe. I'm the Chief Executive of the London Interdisciplinary School, and I'm talking about our new LIS MBA. So ever since I was at McKinsey in my late 20s, I've been wondering about the effectiveness of MBAs, because I was talking to lots of people that were coming back from Stanford and Harvard and London Business School, and there was something there that they were dissatisfied about. And we've kind of really unearthed what we think that is now. MBAs are very focused on analysis, not synthesis. They're focused around the edges of the core part of a business rather than really on that core. They look at the functions of a business. And there's a question about what academics have really got to say about the functions of a business. Do academics in business schools know more about that than businesses do? So we've asked the question, what is it that academics in an institution like ours can really do to help businesses? And I think that's the question that business schools need to start asking themselves. So we think the 6 shifts are important because leaders, they've probably always needed to be able to understand the world around them, but now there's no question that the way the world is changing is coming to the front door of organizations large and small. So we've picked 6 shifts. There are many more shifts happening in the world, but our 6 are around complexity and intelligence and energy and ecosystems and trust and longevity. These are shifts that are happening. They're actually not fads. These are things that have been changing and shifting for decades. You think about the shifts of intelligence and how we use machines, human intelligence and how it interacts with artificial intelligence. This is a shift which is hugely important to the workplace. But who in your organization can understand to some extent these 6 shifts individually and how they interact with each other? That is the set of skills, an unusual combination of skills that the LIS MBA aims to provide to you. Well, our systems thinking approach is really important because MBAs can be quite reductive. Now, reductive problem solving can be really useful. Again, I use this at McKinsey a lot. And we talked about MISI, mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. You take a problem and you essentially break it up into lots of little bits. This is a very common consultancy approach. It can be really useful for some problems. Where it's less useful is where that problem is part of a complex system, which has reinforcing feedback loops within it. And if you do something over here, it has a second order effect in a different part of the system. So understanding systems thinking is vitally important, more and more important in the modern world. And business schools have had a bit of a blind spot here, in our opinion. Well, our format is, I think, a little unusual. We've not aimed for it to be unusual or particularly different. If we thought the format was right, then we'd have followed the existing format. We just did this through asking the question to the people that were going to come, what format would you like? And we're finding this, the feedback we got for the MBA and for our other programs is that people want a mix of the convenience of online, but with the community of coming into campus. And so we have these 6 one-week residentials across 18 months, and people therefore get their sense of community. They go deep, they can switch their phones off, really kind of absorb the learning that we're providing for them. But they also get that kind of ongoing thread of the online, which means that they have more time to be back at work, thinking about how they're applying the work, working on projects at work and bringing them back into the classroom over time and having that iteration opportunity. So what's a really important difference is that we're working on live cases, not pre-recorded cases, if you like. Okay, so this is vitally important. And in fact, to the extent that we can't tell you for the next 18 months what those live cases are going to be, because they are literally going to be live. So we're going to be working with organisations like the UK Strategic Health Authority, and the UK SHA is thinking about the next pandemic or the next big crisis that might impact our health system. So they're pre-planning. And depending on the time of the year or where we're at next year, they may be looking at any particular kind of crisis. But we will be working with them on some problem that they are wrestling with, they don't know the answer, or you might be bringing a problem that you're working on in your workplace, and you'll be putting it up, and we will be questioning people's plans. And it's that quality of your questioning which is part of your assessment. It's a little bit more like how architects work. They put up some plans, they put up some ideas on a wall, and then people all around will critique, ask questions and probe. And it's your ability to do that in that environment, ask questions, probe, bring new ideas, that is going to be part of your assessment. So that's how we're designing the live cases. But the clue's in the name. We can't tell you exactly what those cases are going to be. That's the point. We're really agile in how we work in that sense. Yeah, I think it's foresight. It sounds obvious, but foresight's a really important quality for a leader, to be able to think about the future. No one can predict the future. We definitely don't advertise here that you're going to be able to predict the future if you come and do our MBA. But if you think again about how case examples work and case studies work, they are by definition backwards looking. They're really, really useful for pattern recognition, but they're a little bit like a language learning model. They can only look back and make informed judgments about the future, but they can't construct kind of new ideas or look at existing trends and make predictions about where they may get to and how, again, they're going to interact with each other. So we are trying to develop a program where leaders will have tools to build their foresight, to be able to synthesize different ideas, bring ideas together, think about different shifts that are happening, think about how they're going to interact and what opportunities and what risks those things are going to present. If you think about the big businesses that have been built over the last 25 years and beyond, they come from, Google comes from understanding there's a big shift in how data is going to be organized on the internet. Tesla comes from a big bet and an understanding of this shift towards EVs. And countless other institutions have grown out of the same sort of insight. So this is not just about kind of thinking about problems that are coming our way in terms of these shifts, it really is thinking about opportunities as well. This first cohort we're really excited about, and they've surprised us a little bit. So when we set out to design this program, we were thinking about, we knew people were going to have a little more experience than the traditional MBA student, but this cohort is even more experienced than we expected. So there are people that are in their late 20s, early 30s, but the average or the typical student is more experienced than that. They're closer to 40 years old, 15 to 20 years of experience. And they are people who are saying to us, we've been operating a certain way for the last 10, 15 years, 20 years, and we need new ideas. We need new ways of thinking. It can't be that the ideas I learned 10, 20 years ago are still the right ideas. Business has changed so much, the world's changed so much. So it's leaders who are open-minded, who are coming with a certain humility, who are willing to be, in the early stages, perhaps confused, bamboozled as they learn more and develop more understanding of the uncertainty in the world that we live in, rather than just, trying to build certainty and build confidence. We think that's a kind of long-term aim, is that people have the tools to develop and to understand the complexity of the world. But in the first instance, they'll be kind of having to grapple with complex ideas, and that requires patience and humility. And those are the kinds of people that we've been attracting. We have a dedicated career service at LIS, as you'd expect, and actually our first MBA cohort will be our first alum. So you're not going to come here and be able to plug into a massive alumni network, but what you will be able to do is plug into the LIS organizational network, which is really rich. So we have 250 to 300 organizations that we've worked with over the last 3 or 4 years on our bachelor's and on our master's, and also with our short course training. Companies are just very interested in what we're doing. A lot of leaders out there are fascinated by the fact that we are addressing some of the problems and the challenges that they see in the education sector. And actually the outcomes for our undergraduates have been far, far ahead of the Russell Group. Over 85% of our undergraduates have now got jobs in high-skilled jobs, or they're going on to further study, which is much better than sort of outperforming the top universities in this country. So we've proven concept there. We're yet to prove concept in the MBA, but we are seriously invested in the early cohorts of all of our programs, and so we're making sure that we provide them as many opportunities as possible. But we're getting really good now at explaining the benefits of what an LIS education can bring to the outside world. It's definitely rigorous. It depends what you mean by recognised. So we're not interested in being recognised by the normal accreditation bodies that accredit MBAs. In fact, if those bodies approved us, we'd probably not been disruptive enough. So what we care about is being recognised by the employers, the organisations that we are working with directly and that the students will be working with afterwards. We are rigorous, and we know we're rigorous because we're recruiting academics from MIT, from Harvard, from Oxford, from Cambridge, LSE, UCL, top academics who have been in institutions which are highly recognised in all kinds of ways, and we select them based on their teaching as well as their research track record. And really, in the long run, we'll be judged by whether the people that graduate from our MBA go off and do extraordinary things. That's how we want to be recognised and judged in the long run. So I think what will surprise you is some of the conversations you have. So the conversations we have here at the LS campus, you bump into a theoretical physicist, you have one conversation, but then you walk around the corner, there's an anthropologist or an artist. And so the range of different conversations that you have and that you witness those people having with each other is completely extraordinary. And also we already know the diversity of the people on the program is just fantastic. It is truly a diverse program. This is not just a set of people who are wanting to go from the typical job to the typical job. So I think it's the conversations which will surprise you. So you'll have to come and see for that.